In an attempt to normalize relations between Belgrade and Pristina under a UN General Assembly mandate, the EU has brokered more than 30 agreements over the past 14 years, including the 2013 Brussels Agreement and the 2023 Ohrid Agreement. However, many of the agreements remain partly or largely unimplemented on the ground, while bilateral relations between Belgrade and Pristina have deteriorated in recent years. To better understand possible trajectories for the normalization process, the European Policy Center conducted in-depth research involving key stakeholders: politicians, government officials, journalists, civil society, academics, and experts, both from Pristina and Belgrade. This video pinpoints and explores key policy narratives and what they could mean for the future of Kosovo-Serbia relations. This is the fourth episode of Too Long to Read, a new video series launched by the European Policy Center designed to provide concise, policy-focused analysis on pressing enlargement-related issues. Our goal is to cut through complexity and deliver clear, actionable insights to policymakers. As the Kosovo-Serbia dialogue progresses, four main narratives have emerged among stakeholders about the final outcome of the normalization process. Mutual recognition and full international affirmation is the dominant narrative in Kosovo, especially among Albanian political leaders, civil society, and experts. They see mutual recognition and Kosovo's full international affirmation, including UN membership, as the only acceptable outcome. Recognition is viewed as existential, a non-negotiable part of any final agreement. While opposition leaders in Pristina are slightly more cautious about the timeline, they too insist that the end goal is mutual recognition. Some Serbian voices, though fewer, also acknowledge this as a potentially necessary step. Serbia's official stance firmly rejects the recognition of Kosovo's independence. Instead, the focus is on practical cooperation, economic ties, freedom of movement, and reintegration of Serbs into Kosovo institutions. The 2020 Washington Agreement reflected this approach, emphasizing economic cooperation while sidestepping political status. Some Kosovo Serbs support this path, particularly after feeling that the promise of a community of Serb-majority municipalities was sidelined. This view favors practical arrangements over legal recognition and is seen as serving Serbian national interests. Promoted by key EU leaders like European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, former German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, and French President Emmanuel Macron, this scenario involves Serbia de facto recognizing Kosovo, acknowledging its documents, institutions, and territorial integrity without formally declaring it. Termed functional or silent recognition, this option avoids politically risky formalities while moving relations closer to that of two independent states. It aligns closely with the 2023 Ohrid Agreement, which implies full international affirmation of Kosovo, even if not explicitly stated. This narrative represents a middle ground from Belgrade's perspective. Serbia would de facto accept Kosovo as a functioning state under the Ohrid Agreement but oppose its UN membership. Kosovo could join some regional and European organizations like the EU and Council of Europe, but not the UN, which many in Serbia see as a red line equivalent to the EUDA recognition. In return, Serbia would push for full implementation of the Community of Serb-majority municipalities and enhanced rights for Serbs in Kosovo. This scenario appeals to those in Serbia who want EU accession without conceding full international status to Kosovo. These narratives reflect different visions, interests, and red lines among stakeholders. The future of the dialogue may well depend on how and whether these narratives can be reconciled. As the EU aims to strengthen its global role, successfully normalizing Belgrade-Pristina relations would surely boost its foreign policy credibility. To improve the dialogue's chance of success, 5 key steps are crucial. First, the EU should shift from a passive facilitator to an active mediator, proposing solutions and ensuring accountability with a clean track record of their implementation. Second, the new EU Special Representative, Peter Sorensen, must have strong institutional backing and clear authority, working closely with the High Representative to regain lost political weight. Third, closer coordination with the US, especially after Donald Trump returned to office, is vital to avoid competing diplomatic tracks. Fourth, the EU should use both incentives, such as the donor assistance for joint projects under the Ohrid Agreement, and penalties by preconditioning the funding from the new growth plan as per Article 5 of the Reform and Growth Facility in case of lack of constructive engagement. Finally, improving transparency is essential. Activating and publicizing the work of the Joint Monitoring Committee, along with the regular progress reports and civil society input, would help rebuild trust and credibility in the process. These steps could be decisive in overcoming the current stalemate. If you would like to see further recommendations for Belgrade and Pristina and to learn more about this topic, you can visit TEP's website for the full study at the link in bio. Thank you for watching. This was our attempt to break down the EU's facilitation of the Belgrade-Pristina normalization process while presenting a possible way forward. Stay tuned for more and see you in the next too long to read Enlargement Explainer.